Hello, friends. Pastor Steve here. It is Wednesday, February 24th, 2021. My daughter, my baby girl, turned 18 years old today. I cannot believe it. Very proud of her. Anyway, I'm coming to you today to revisit a conversation I had this morning with my New Testament classes. I have read some statistics recently that are startling, very concerning regarding the amount of suicidal ideation that's present among teenagers, especially going back over the last year or so. The numbers are up in some cases 800%, which is an overwhelmingly horrible statistic. So I've been talking with my students about caring for themselves and about feeding yourself the things that are good and true and beautiful, really self-care, spiritual self-care. And this morning we talked about meditating on God's Word. Psalm 1 says that the Bible Project, guys, I'll put a link in this post, but the Bible Project talks about this, the ideal Bible reader as somebody who meditates on God's Word day and night. And the Hebrew word for meditate means literally something like to mutter or to speak quietly. And so the idea is that you're reading the Bible over and over again, day after day, and you're kind of reading it to yourself and you're mulling over it. You know, you're not, meditation as an Eastern religious practice is to empty your mind of things and to sort of center yourself and to free yourself of all the encumbrances of your life and the Christian version of meditation, the biblical version of meditation, is not to empty your mind, but to fill it with, again, things that are good and true and beautiful. And so we're talking about John 1. And in John 1, there are all these words. There are 5 words especially in the early chapters of the Gospel of John that are words that essentially describe Jesus. And I just can't get over it. I invited my students to meditate on it. I'll invite you guys to do the same as a means of spiritual self-care and as a way to practice meditation, meditating on God's Word. There are 5 words in the early chapters of John's Gospel that John or Jesus uses to describe himself: light, glory, truth, grace. And light, glory, truth, grace. Well, that's 4 of them. I'll come back to you with the 5th one here in a minute. But let's just take those 4: light, glory, truth, and grace. And those are things that embody who Jesus is. And so you read in John chapter 1 this narrative, this description, this soaring accounting of who he is in this first gospel. In him life, light, glory, life, truth, grace. Life, glory, light, truth, grace. Those 5 things, I got the 5th one, are essential. They're at the core of who Jesus is and who he describes himself to be. And so as you read these verses, read John 1 2 or 3 times, and read it with those words as the lenses that you would choose to pursue, and then just watch how that affects the way that you think and operate, that this person loves you, the one who embodies life, light, truth, glory, and grace. All those 5 things find their home, and he is full. We have seen his glory as the only begotten from the Father, full of grace and truth. This person loves you. It's easy to forget. It's easy to get distracted. It's easy to take our eyes off of the horizon, to not fix our eyes on, to look to the hills where our help comes from. And so, friends, I wanted to encourage you today just for a minute that meditation from a Christian perspective isn't about emptying your mind. It's about filling your mind with what God's Word says. And I want to invite you just to take John 1 and those 5 things about Jesus that are central to who he is, and think about and mutter about, read them to yourself, and then talk with somebody about it. That's a way for us to meditate, is to read it and talk about it, as I'm doing right now. So I encourage you with that today. Friends, be safe. Take care of yourself. Spend time. Reach out. Don't be afraid to reach out. And if you feel isolated, please reach out to any one of us. And we would just love to care for you as best we can during our continued season of isolation. We love you. Take care. And we'll hopefully see and talk to you soon.